Disclaimer: views expressed in this video have had no express or implied intention and should not be followed or given any credit. I am not an expert in any field. These are just my opinions and ideas. Don't try this at home or anywhere. I am not liable for your actions.
Hey there YouTube, it's Jesse with permofit. Here it is. It's about a little after 11:30, I think. 11:53, and my car didn't start. There it is, way over there. My lonely sob. It's a sob story. Battery's dead, or close to dead. I was running a little late getting to work, uploading the last video, and of course at the last minute the car doesn't start. But I just happened to have purchased a quick charger slash jump start box, and I was able to get it started and drove to work just so I can get to work on time. A little late getting off work, and here it is not starting. But I'm only about a 30-minute walk from home, so I'm talking to you, and that's it. I'll catch you later. Hey there, YouTube. I'm back, and I got bored talking to myself, so I figured I'd talk to you guys some more. So, have any of you guys seen that video on YouTube? I think it's like 6.5 minutes long, and it's called Wealth Inequality in America. It goes and shows some statistics on a couple of charts on how the top 1% of the working class in America has 40% of the wealth. The bottom 80% has 7% of the wealth, and you can kind of do the math from there. So I went and looked up some statistics, and this is, I think they are based on 2009 figures. So I went and looked at some statistics, and there's approximately 311 million people in the United States ish, and about 25% of them are working class. The rest are children, adolescents that can't work, and the elderly. So it's essentially up to us as far as working goes. And so anyways, so I went and did some further research, and the poverty line is approximately, for that time frame, it's approximately $10,000. It's between $10,000 and $11,000 a year income. Now, the 80% line is I don't know where I'm going. Haha. But anyways, the 80% line on the graph represents approximately $100,000 a year income, which to me seems like a really, I mean, if you can work starting off at minimum wage part-time, which is essentially what poverty is, and get all the way up to $100,000 a year, and you've made the 80% range already. I mean, that's, as far as percentage goes, that's a really fast movement as far as I'm concerned. As far as income goes, that's not that much. I mean, it's far more than what I'm making, but it's not that much. Now, I believe at the 90% range, I may have these figures off by about 5% or so, but at the 90% range on this chart, you're making about $180,000 a year. And at the 95% range, you're making about the $450,000 to $475,000 a year. And the top 1% is making approximately, these are averages, but are making approximately $6.2 million a year. So I went and did a little more research, and it's not the top 1%. I mean, not that making $6 million a year isn't much, but the top 1%, you divide that out. Now the top 0.1% is where all the real money is. And, you know, I haven't gone farther to see out of the 40% how much, you know, subdivided in the top 1% are. But it's just really disheartening and interesting. Really good video. Wealth and Equality in America. Now, you can follow up with that if you hadn't had a chance to watch. Sorry about the shakiness here, I'm just holding this. If you hadn't had a chance to watch, go watch America, Freedom to Fascism by Aaron Russo. Came out in, I believe, 2005. He has since died from colon cancer, prostate cancer, something like that, which is sad. He's got a ton of good info out there. And it basically talks about how 100% of the federal income tax from the average worker, which is most of us, just goes to pay the interest on the national debt. That's it. It doesn't go to social services, doesn't go to welfare, doesn't go to any of that other stuff. It just goes to pay the interest on the national debt, from which goes to the Federal Reserve, which is not federal. It's a private agency. So watch that. And then there's another documentary out there called We're Not Broke. I believe I watch most of these on Netflix, but anyways. And We're Not Broke talks about how a majority of the big businesses operating in this country do not pay corporate taxes. They funnel their money through various means to Cayman Islands, Ireland, other places like Ireland. I guess they were charging somewhere between 12 and 15% corporate tax, where the U.S. Runs at about 35% corporate tax. So 12% is a pretty good deal. And but then they would switch over to the Cayman Islands, which are operating somewhere between 0 and 1% corporate tax. Now, as far as I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm wrong daily, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe corporate tax is actually supposed to be how we're supposed to be funding the military, among other things. Now, from some research I've gone and looked, you're going to have to look all this up yourself. Don't take my word as gospel or anything. Take it with a grain of salt, minimum. But a lot of the CEOs of these corporations, not only they get paid tons, but they are able to pay virtually zero or much less taxes than us. So you combine well, when I say us, I mean people making between poverty and less than the top 1%. And a lot of these guys that are in the top 1%, top 0.1%, are paying no income taxes or very low income taxes compared to what they could be paying, but they have the money to invest in research to find out what, let's see, I'm gonna go this way, to find out what loopholes there are. And if you watch the movie We're Not Broke, it talks about how a lot of these corporations lobby Congress and get members on to actually change the corporate tax law to make them exempt from taxes, or, you know, just various different things. You know, so, and it's like Chris Rock said, if you're making 30,000, if you're making, I think he used Donald Trump as a reference, but he goes, if you're making, you know, $1 billion a year, or even $1 million a year, and you get divorced, and your wife takes half, that still leaves you with $500 million or $500,000 if you only had 1 year savings. That sucks. It's a lot of money to leave with, but you're still better off than me. Now, if you're making 10 or 15 or 20 or $30,000 a year and you get divorced and she leaves with half, $15,000 according to Chris Rock is enough to kill her. But that's just Chris Rock. Alright, talk to you guys later. Yay! Just a few blocks from home. I think it's in the 30s out. A little brisk. Any of you guys seen that compilation of clips from Will Smith? I can't remember who did it. I don't know. But if you get a chance to go on my channel, I got a really good playlist called Oops, They Slipped. It's got all kinds of conspiracy type stuff. And I also have a couple others to watch on there. So I'll probably just say hey one more time when I get inside. And other than that, check out my channel, subscribe, and make sure your car starts. Alright, thanks guys. Alright, hey, I'm home. It is, let's see what kind of time I made. 12:29. So just a little over 30 minutes. Not too shabby if I don't say so myself. And let myself into the house. And I'll see what the temperature is. Kind of curious. If I can find my house key. All right, 32 out. Not too bad. You guys have a good night.